My girlfriend said she'd marry me when the company went public. But the day before the IPO, I proposed pulling out my shares. I even offered to transfer my stake at 1% of its market value. When my girlfriend and my best friend heard my decision, they were stunned, staring at me in disbelief. "Ethan, are you serious?" Leo, my best friend, asked, his voice rising with emotion. "Pulling out now? Don't you know our company is going public tomorrow? This could completely derail the listing." My girlfriend, Jessica, quickly chimed in. "Why didn't you discuss this with me first?" "Ethan, I'm telling you, I don't agree." They were clearly panicking. Looking at these two, still putting on a false front, a sharp pang hit my chest. They didn't know I was reborn. They say never start a business with your best friend. I didn't believe it in my past life. Now I did. Last time, because I trusted my best friend, the tech guy, invested in the company, contributing my patents. But as soon as the company started showing promise, my so-called best friend conspired with my girlfriend to frame me, kick me out, and leave me saddled with enormous debt. "Ethan, you can't be so impulsive." Jessica's voice pulled me back to reality. "We're running a company, not playing house." As she spoke, she shot Leo a look. Leo quickly understood and stepped forward to persuade me. "Exactly, Ethan. Jessica's right. You and Jess are about to get married. Pulling out now isn't smart. Once we're public, the dividends will keep rolling in. You and Jess can live comfortably without worries, right?" They tried to talk me around, but I remained unmoved. "Even if you want to pull out, you need to sign these documents first." "How about that?" Leo suggested. "Yeah, Ethan, these papers are urgent. Sign them, and then we can talk about you leaving," Jessica added, urging me. Seeing them practically jumping out of their skin, I thought, why keep up the act? If I expose these documents now, where will you hide your faces? But I wouldn't do that. Exposing them now wouldn't achieve much. Even if we fell out right here, they'd still walk away with a fortune and live lavishly. That would be letting this despicable pair off too easily. "Leo, Jessica, actually, I've thought about this for a while," I said calmly. "I went to the hospital recently for a checkup. The doctor said my body is completely depleted. I need to rest, otherwise, I might make the money but not live to spend it. Even so, you can't just pull out. You can sign the papers and go rest." "I'll approve an extended leave for you," Leo offered quickly. Jessica added, "That's right, Ethan. For our future happiness, you can't be so selfish. Sign the documents and then you can rest." They continued with their honeyed words. I glanced at them both, then said, "Leo, take a look at the document I prepared first." Leo snapped back to attention, picked up the file and read it. The anxiety on his face slowly faded, replaced by a flicker of confusion. Jessica noticed and asked, "What is it, Leo?" "Ethan, are you sure? You only want 100 million for these shares, and the rest you're transferring to Jessica." "Yes, transfer them to Jess. She can represent my stake in the company from now on," I replied. Hearing this, Jessica's face lit up with unconcealed joy. "Really? Ethan, I'm so touched," she exclaimed. "It's fine," I said. "We're getting married soon anyway. Giving this to you is like keeping it for myself. I really just want to take a break." Leo and Jessica beamed, clearly thrilled. They probably never expected me to hand over my shares so willingly, especially since the company's post-IPO valuation would surely be in the billions, and I was asking for a mere 100 million. Leo must have been ecstatic inside. Jessica too, no doubt. Both wore expressions of pure delight. "All right, since you've made up your mind, this agreement seems fine to me. Shall I sign it then?" Leo asked tentatively. "Go ahead," I said. "But I need the money transferred to my account quickly. It's for our wedding fund, Jessica's and mine," I added. "Okay, I'll have finance wire it immediately." "Should the money go to your account, or Jessica's?" Leo suddenly asked. Jessica visibly tensed at his question, looking at me with anticipation. This bastard Leo, I cursed inwardly, trying to swindle me out of even this 100 million. Damn them, this wretched pair. "Better send it to my account first," I said. "I need to prepare a surprise for Jessica, and I need the funds." A fleeting look of disappointment crossed Jessica's face, vanishing as quickly as it appeared. "That works too," Leo agreed. He promptly called finance and gave instructions. Then, I signed my name on the agreement. The moment I put pen to paper, Leo let out an audible sigh of relief. Jessica did too. I chuckled softly. So, I don't need to sign those other documents now, right? Leo paused for a second. No, not needed. Okay, you two get back to work. I'm heading out. Jess, call me if anything comes up later, I said. Okay, Jessica replied. I knew right then they were probably cursing me inwardly, calling me a fool, an idiot, giving up billions or at least several billion just like that. But they didn't understand the saying, whom the gods would destroy, they first make mad. Right now, they must be incredibly smug, ready to celebrate, thinking the company was finally theirs, that I was completely discarded. But they didn't know this was just the first step of my revenge plan. My plan was just beginning. I would make them kneel, crying and begging for forgiveness. I headed home and quickly packed a few things. Since graduating and joining the company, all my time these past few years had been consumed by game development. I hadn't had a proper break, let alone traveled. Now, having left the company, it was the perfect time to find a place and take a vacation. I knew the company was about to go public, and Leo definitely needed strong performance figures to impress investors and deliver a stellar report. To do that, he needed to upgrade the game and release a new hero character. This new hero was something I had designed over a long period. Before its release, the company had already dropped hints, building anticipation among many players. Related forums and popular short video platforms were buzzing with leaked data and images. The hype was immense. Even major gaming influencers had dedicated videos analyzing the new character. It had basically become the center of attention. I knew their marketing department was planning a dedicated press conference tomorrow specifically for this game upgrade and new hero launch. They were also releasing related merchandise. This was Leo's way of building further momentum before the IPO. I had to admit Leo did have some marketing savvy. After packing, I sent Jessica a message telling her I was going on vacation. She didn't reply. I bought a plane ticket to Miami, booked a hotel room, set my computer and phone to silent, and lay down on the bed, enjoying the sea breeze drifting in from outside. By evening, Jessica still hadn't replied. I figured she and Leo were probably celebrating, thinking I'd handed everything over to them, congratulating themselves, maybe even calling me an idiot for taking a mere 100 million instead of billions. As I was looking at my phone, someone else messaged me. It was a friend, Alex. He'd sent several messages, basically saying he heard I'd left the company and cashed out my shares. He asked if I was crazy, leaving right when the company was about to go public, when I could have made a fortune, instead handing the fruits of victory to others. Since I hadn't replied, he also called me a few times. I hadn't answered any of them. His name was Alex, a die-hard fan of the game I developed. We met because of the game. His family was wealthy. Shortly after finishing school, they gave him tens of millions to start a business. He wasn't just some rich kid. He had skills. With that capital, he'd made a name for himself in the internet space, multiplying his net worth several times over. He was always trying to poach me, constantly telling me Leo wasn't a good guy, giving me such a small stake. He said if I started a game company with him, he'd give me 90% of the shares, taking only a small cut himself. He claimed he wasn't in it for the money, but for the passion to create a truly great game. Back then, I'd listened but politely declined, not taking it seriously. I was still dreaming of marrying Jessica and living a good life. It wasn't until I was on the verge of jumping off a building in my previous life that Alex called me, asking if there was anything he could do to help. He promised he would if he could. But by then, I was utterly broken. Betrayed by both my trusted friend and the woman I loved, the thread holding me together snapped completely, and I ended my life. Thinking back now on everything Alex did, I was genuinely moved. After all, when I was at my lowest, when everyone else avoided me like the plague, he was still willing to reach out and offer a hand. I felt deeply grateful. With that thought, I called Alex back. The moment I dialed, Alex picked up almost instantly. "Ethan, you finally answered. Why did you just leave the company?" he asked. "It's nothing. After working so hard for years, my body couldn't take it. Just needed to get away and relax," I said. "You went on a trip? Where are you? I'll come right over. I actually have something to tell you. If it's about games, Then never mind. Don't bother coming, you'll just waste your time, I chuckled. Alex quickly replied, not about games. It's about something else you don't know. I gave Alex my location. When he heard I was in Miami, he immediately said, you should have told me you were coming to Miami. I have a beach house there. Check out of the hotel right now and go wait for me at my villa. I'll text you the code. He was quite generous. After hanging up, about 3 hours later, Alex arrived in Miami and met up with me. As soon as Alex saw me, he started complaining, Ethan, that Leo is really something else, kicking you out like that. Look, I'll give you $1 billion to develop a game, same rules as we discussed before. Before he could finish, I stared at him, and he stopped, saying sheepishly, right, forgot, got here in a hurry. Okay, no game talk. For the next few days in Miami, whatever you want to do, I'll do it with you. I nodded. Thanks for going through the trouble, Alex. Alex smiled. Don't mention it. We sat by his pool, a bottle of liquor on the table between us. Alex was scrolling through his phone. After a moment he said, Ethan, look at this. Leo is such a jerk. Saying the main creative team was replaced because the old team couldn't keep up with the company's development speed. Isn't that just a nasty way of insulting you? He handed me his phone. I took it and looked. The comments below were almost entirely negative towards me. This game is getting worse and worse. The original creative team should have been replaced ages ago. Exactly. Best wishes to the game. It will definitely get better from now on. No wonder I felt the art style changed recently. Turns out they replaced the lead creative. Congrats to the company. Congrats to the game. The top-rated comments were overwhelmingly critical of me. Anyone could see it was controlled commentary by Leo's company. Basically, they hired paid commenters to slander me. Alex said angrily, Ethan, now do you see this guy's true colors? Kicking you out, taking credit for your work, and then deliberately publishing this kind of news to disgust you. Tomorrow, I'm going to their office and giving that disgusting Leo a piece of my mind. It's fine. A few bad words won't hurt me, I said calmly. Alex looked at me. Ethan, you really have a good temper. I took a sip of my drink and said nothing. Putting the glass down, I added, it's getting late. I'm going to head back and rest. Okay, Alex said. Lying in bed, a few colleagues from the company also messaged me. They told me that right after I left, a new team arrived at the company. Now, my old team members were being marginalized, clearly being pushed to resign. Some even asked if I had found a new company and if they could follow me. Looking at their messages, I just chuckled inwardly. There were bound to be truths and lies mixed in. Maybe some were even sent by Leo to probe me. I glanced at the messages and replied simply, telling them to focus on their work and not worry about other things. After sending the messages and having had a little to drink, I soon fell asleep. I slept soundly. I don't know how much time passed, but suddenly there was a loud banging on the door. Knock, knock, knock. Alex's voice came from outside. Ethan, open up. Something's happened. I got out of bed, opened the door, and saw Alex holding a tablet. He handed it to me. The press conference has started. Quick, take a look. The press conference was being live-streamed. Sitting in the center was Leo, dressed sharply in a suit, hair slicked back, looking incredibly successful. Beside him sat Jessica, wearing a form-fitting business dress. Her makeup was subtle, giving her an air of dignity. Throughout, they exchanged suggestive glances. Mr. Davis, a reporter suddenly stood up. Today is the pre-launch event for your company's game upgrade and new hero reveal. Do you have anything you'd like to share? Leo adjusted his tie and smiled. This game upgrade will definitely bring a new experience to all players, with many hidden surprises. I believe it won't disappoint anyone. Our new director of game planning will elaborate on the details shortly. Mr. Davis, I heard the original lead game designer has left the company. Are there any inside details you can share with us? This question piqued everyone's curiosity. All eyes were on them. Leo and Jessica exchanged a look. Leo smiled mysteriously and said, regarding this matter, let's have Ms. Miller explain it to everyone. Jessica took the microphone, looked at the camera with a smile and said, it's not complicated. Our company is now facing its IPO. The previous lead game designer's creative thinking was outdated and couldn't keep pace with our company's development. That's why we brought in a new lead designer. As Jessica spoke, there seemed to be a hint of mockery in her eyes. Her words caused an uproar. In the live stream chat, someone commented, "That can't be true. I heard insider news that this upgrade and the new hero were actually created by the previous designer. Isn't that like kicking someone out after they've served their purpose? And this game was developed by the previous designer in the first place. Now that the company is going public, they just kick him out? What are you talking about? It's clearly the designer's lack of ability. Companies need to evolve. Bringing in fresh blood is normal." Beside me, Alex glanced at me and suddenly asked, "Ethan, did you and your girlfriend have a fight recently?" I understood Alex's implication. If Jessica and I hadn't fought, she probably wouldn't speak about me like this in public. Alex still looked like he was holding back his anger. If Leo had said those words, Alex, with his temper, would probably have started ranting already. I looked at Alex and said, "Now that I've left the company, they need a suitable explanation for the public." "Is this a suitable explanation? This must be Leo's idea. Otherwise, your girlfriend wouldn't do this," Alex said, somewhat indignantly. Hearing this, my thoughts grew heavy. Alex didn't know the whole story. Of course, I didn't explain. I just wanted to see how long those two could keep up their act. A reporter pressed further. "So, can we interpret this as the previous lead game designer being fired by you?" This question was quite sharp. Jessica and Leo exchanged glances again. Then, Jessica said, "To provide everyone with a better gaming experience, we had no choice. Some people who need to be replaced should be replaced." The chat feed showed comments like, "Well said, the previous game characters looked lifeless. The lead designer should have been replaced long ago. Hope the new lead designer can bring us some surprises. I heard the new lead designer is a big shot hired from abroad. Definitely much better than the previous one." The comments were overwhelmingly one-sided. Alex couldn't hold back anymore. "No way. I can't watch these guys twist the truth. You clearly left the company voluntarily, but in their mouths, it becomes you getting fired." Alex took out his phone and started furiously typing comments in the chat. He wanted to explain the truth, but his comments were quickly drowned out by the others. These one-sided comments were undoubtedly from the paid commenters hired by Leo and his team. Suddenly, another reporter asked, "Ms. Miller, I heard that the previous lead game designer was your boyfriend? Is there any truth to this? If so, don't you think what you just said was a bit hurtful?" This question dropped like a bomb, and the live stream exploded. Viewership peaked. Jessica's expression changed slightly but quickly returned to normal. She composed herself and said, "Reporter, I don't know where you heard these rumors. Today is supposed to be about the game pre-launch. My personal relationship status isn't really appropriate to discuss, but since you asked today, I'll clarify the rumor. The former lead designer and I were just colleagues. Beyond that, there was no relationship whatsoever." Hearing this, my expression shifted slightly. Even though I knew how some things would turn out, it still stung a little. But it was good. She dropped the act, so I had nothing left to hide either. Alex's expression beside me was priceless. He looked at me with astonishment. "Ethan, when did you two break up? Since when are you so gossipy?" I retorted. Alex probably realized he'd misspoken and quickly shut his mouth. I closed the live stream, no longer in the mood to watch. Alex tried to console me. "Ethan, it's okay. I'll introduce you to someone even prettier later. If there's nothing else, just head out. I need some time alone." Alex left my room. I took out the hard drive I'd brought with me and plugged it into my computer. Inside was a new game I had created. Although not fully polished, the basic framework was there. In my past life, I had planned to surprise them with it after the company went public. But I never got the chance. Probably not long after the press conference ended, my phone rang. It was Jessica. I hesitated for a moment, then answered. Jessica's voice came through, sharp and tinged with arrogance, using my full name. "Ethan Miller, you must have watched the whole live stream today, right?" Hearing her use my full name, I understood immediately. She was calling to make the breakup official. I was already prepared for this. I scoffed. "Yeah, I watched. So what? I'm calling to inform you. Let's break up." "Ethan, I never realized you lacked so much ambition. Now that you've left the company, Our lives and careers have no intersection. We're not on the same path and we can't walk it together. You should understand what I mean. Jessica was blunt, showing no consideration for my feelings. If this had been my past life, her words would have devastated me. But Reborn, I didn't care what she said. Before she could finish, I cut her off. All right, I agree. She paused for a few seconds, perhaps surprised by how readily I agreed. Ethan, don't you have anything else to say? What else is there to say? You want to break up, I agree. From now on, we have nothing to do with each other. My voice was cold. I hung up. Just as I hung up, unexpectedly, she called again. I answered. Since we've broken up, the car and the house are mine now, right? No problem. Fine. I hung up again. The car and house were already registered in her name. Since we weren't married, they weren't marital assets. Even if I fought for them, I probably wouldn't get them back. So I never planned to ask for them. Next, I turned off my phone and started working on the computer. This game was something I had planned for a long time, spending nearly a year developing it. For the next 3 days, I devoted myself entirely to it. Alex called me during this time, inviting me out to play, relax, saying he'd found lots of pretty young women to keep me company. I turned him down every time. Finally, after 3 days, I finished my work. On the same day, Leo and Jessica's gaming company successfully went public and rang the opening bell. The game was upgraded, and the new hero was released simultaneously. The company's market value instantly surpassed 10 billion. Among the gaming stocks at the time, it was incredibly hot, highly sought after. And on that very same day, I launched the closed beta for my own game. I invited some old gaming friends from forums to test it. After playing for an hour or two, they all responded enthusiastically. Damn, this is awesome. When is such an amazing game officially launching? This game will definitely attract a huge crowd when it launches. The experience is way better than that other game. Seeing their feedback, a faint smile touched my lips. I quickly replied to their messages, telling them the game wasn't fully polished yet, asked them to play for a few days, and noted that there might be bugs needing fixing. They quickly asked if I could send more beta keys. They wanted their friends to play too. I thought about it for a moment and, without delay, sent them a batch of invitation codes. After doing all that, I let out a long breath. Then I lay down on the bed and slept. I don't know how long I slept, but my phone rang. I answered. It was Alex. I pressed answer and Alex asked what I was doing. I said sleeping. Alex immediately said, "The weather's great today. Why are you sleeping? Get down to the beach, quick." Thinking I had nothing else to do, I went with Alex to the shore. The sea breeze blew, carrying a salty tang. A yacht was docked at the harbor. Alex probably thought I'd been cooped up for days and wanted to take me out to relax. He had invited quite a few people, throwing a party on the yacht. Plenty of handsome men and beautiful women showed up, but I wasn't interested in that sort of thing. Spotting a fishing rod nearby, I went to the deck and started fishing. Looking out at the vast, boundless ocean and the incredibly blue sky, I felt completely relaxed. Soon, Alex came over with a drink. "Here, Ethan, have some." I took the drink, sipped it lightly, and said, "Alex, you went to a lot of trouble." Alex replied, "It's nothing as long as you're happy." He grinned at me. Seeing his slightly odd smile, I couldn't help but say, "Alex, why are you looking at me like that? I'm not into guys." Hearing my words, Alex paused, then reacted, cursing, "Get lost. I like women." As we were joking around, my fishing rod suddenly jerked. I quickly moved forward, grabbing the rod. The fish underwater struggled fiercely. I strained to pull the rod back, but it was pulled away again slightly. Alex saw this and wanted to help. I told him, "I don't need help. I can handle it myself." The big one's hooked now. After about 10 minutes of struggle, the fish in the water seemed to tire. I gave a strong pull upwards, and the large fish was quickly hauled onto the deck. Seeing the big fish lying there, Alex's face broke into an excited smile. "Ethan, impressive. You even caught such a big fish." I looked at the fish on the deck, smiled, and said nothing more. Just then, my phone rang. I checked the caller ID. It was Leo. I didn't answer. Instead, I opened their company's game forum. Immediately, I saw tons of complaints. "What kind of game is this? The new hero is like a dead fish, no expression, totally lifeless. And the skills, it's like watching an 80-year-old grandpa. This is supposed to be an upgrade? What a crappy game. Seriously, I'm done. Zero gaming experience. Scrolling down, it was all complaints. Alex, seeing me engrossed, leaned over to look. Soon, he burst out laughing. Haha, serves them right. A smile also appeared on my face. Just then, Leo's call came through again. I still didn't answer. Alex looked a bit worried. Ethan, you're not going to help them, are you? After how they treated you. Alex started rambling in my ear. Listening to him, I felt quite touched. I knew he was trying to protect me, but how could I possibly help them in this situation? This was all part of the trap I had set. They were so eager to get rid of me right before the company went public. Naturally, I had to prepare some surprises for them. Now, the surprise I prepared was taking effect. Leo called me several times in a row. I didn't answer. Then Jessica's call came. I hesitated briefly, then answered. Jessica's voice was urgent. Ethan, where are you now? Get back here immediately. What's wrong? I asked, feigning ignorance. There's a problem with the company's game. I don't care where you are right now. Get back here and put out the fire. Jessica's tone sounded like she was giving an order. Hearing this, I paused, then let out a scornful laugh. Ms. Miller, have you forgotten? I've already been fired from the company. Are you sure you called the right person? Jessica ignored what I said. Ethan, this isn't the time for us to be petty. The bugs in the game now concern the life or death of our company. This game is your brainchild too. You don't want anything bad to happen to the game or the company, do you? The game was my brainchild, yes, but it's not under my control anymore. I'm not part of the company. Whatever happens to you has absolutely nothing to do with me. After saying that, I hung up. Beside me, Alex immediately gave me a thumbs up. Ethan, well done. That's exactly how you should handle it. So satisfying. I responded faintly. Just then, my phone rang again. It was still Jessica. I answered. Jessica started immediately. Ethan, I know breaking up with you and saying those things at the press conference was wrong. I'm sorry, but now isn't the time for you to throw a tantrum. Even if we broke up, aren't you, me, and Leo still good friends? When friends are in trouble, shouldn't you help? She rambled on, but I didn't reply. Then, I heard another voice on the line. Let me talk to Ethan. Soon, Leo's voice came through. Ethan, what Jessica said at the press conference was indeed inappropriate. As the company's CEO, I didn't stop her. That was my mistake. On behalf of Jessica and myself, I sincerely apologize. I'm sorry. Hearing the words, I'm sorry, I couldn't help but sneer inwardly. Even now, he was still putting on an act for me. I know Jessica breaking up with you hurt you deeply. As a mutual friend, I can try to help you two get back together. The company just went public, and because of the game issues, the stock price has started falling. Ethan, I hope you'll consider the bigger picture. Leo sounded incredibly sincere. Hearing this, I said, the company's affairs have nothing to do with me. Whether the company goes bankrupt or not, I don't care. As for breaking up with Jessica, I couldn't be happier. Why would I possibly get back together with her? Before Leo could reply, Jessica's voice, clearly losing composure, came through the phone. Ethan Miller, what do you mean? Nothing. Just the literal meaning, I said flatly. Jessica immediately shot back. I dumped you, understand? It was me who didn't want you anymore. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. I had no interest in listening to Jessica's tantrum. Leo's voice came on again. Ethan, are you really going to be this ruthless? I haven't done anything, I retorted irritably. Don't tell me you think the company and the game can't survive without you? That we really have no way to fix this? Leo's voice lowered slightly. If you're so capable, then hurry up and have your lead designer fix the game. I hung up without hesitation. Almost instantly. Just then, Alex gave me another thumbs up. Awesome. That comeback was perfect. I just checked their company's stock price. It's been cut in half. I'm going to contact some media friends now and make sure this gets reported properly. Alex grinned mischievously. I didn't stop Alex. This was also part of my revenge plan. Alex made a few calls, and what was initially a small-scale issue blew up completely. It became a hot topic online. Many players of the game flooded the forums with complaints. I thought the newly upgraded game would bring us surprises, but it turned out to be a shock. The way they hyped it at the press conference makes the current situation even more embarrassing. Compared to the original lead designer, this is like heaven and earth. Quickly bring back the original designer, or I'm uninstalling the game. Leo's company was bombarded with criticism and quickly took the game offline temporarily. They wouldn't dare keep it running. They announced publicly that the game was undergoing repairs. Just then, I saw an interesting comment in the comment section. Have you guys heard of a new game? It's currently in closed beta, really fun. The gaming experience blows this one out of the water, like 10 times better. Dude, 10 times is too modest. 100 times is more like it. The character details are amazing, movements are smooth. It's simply a masterpiece. I have a feeling once this game goes public, it's going straight to the top. Seeing these comments, I was momentarily stunned. I had just released a batch of beta codes and people were already playing. I had only given out about 200 or 300 beta codes so far. I opened the game forum and saw that the person I had given beta codes to had contacted me again, saying, "Bro, your game is incredible. People are starting to offer high prices for beta codes now. One code is selling for $1,000. Seeing this, I told him, the beta codes I gave you probably shouldn't be sold for money. Don't worry, the codes I gave out were all to old-school gamers. I wouldn't do something like that. Hurry up and prepare for the public launch. I've been playing all day and found basically no bugs. I want to be one of the oldest players when it launches." He sent this as a voice message. You could hear his excitement. Don't worry, I'll let you know about the public launch. The name of my game is Unbounded. It represents a huge amount of effort and planning on my part. I opened the game to check and immediately received an internal email. The email was simple. Hello, I am Leo Davis, CEO of Ocean Wave Gaming. We are very interested in your game. Would you be interested in discussing this further? Seeing this email, I paused for a few seconds. I didn't expect Leo to find me here. I was about to refuse, but after thinking for a moment, I didn't reject him immediately. I replied with an email. Discuss what? How? As soon as I sent the message, Leo replied instantly. Ocean Wave Gaming, you must have heard of us, right? We have very strong resources. We are willing to acquire your game at a very generous price. Furthermore, by acquiring your game, we can make it popular worldwide, attracting countless players. As a game developer, you surely want your game to be played by many people. Leo was still so shameless. I can consider it, I replied. After sending that message, I stopped responding. At this point, Leo and his team definitely didn't know I was the developer of this game. Otherwise, they wouldn't have sent me a private email. I closed my laptop. The boat had docked. Alex asked me, should we take that big fish home? Yes, definitely. It wasn't easy catching it, I said with a smile. Alex acknowledged. Okay then. He carried the large fish to the car and we drove back home. Alex instructed the housekeeper to cook the fish. Then he turned to me. Ethan, have you heard about a game called Unbounded recently? I looked at Alex, slightly surprised. What about it? This game seems really hot lately. Codes are impossible to get. I heard it's amazing. I tried asking around for a beta code, but couldn't get one. Is it really that popular? Of course. I heard some beta codes are being scalped for $10,000. If we could invest in this game, imagine how much we could make. Alex looked serious. I told Alex, I don't have money for investment. You don't have money, but I do, and you have the skills. If we invest, you join them, the game will definitely become even better. If we can really acquire it, we split the shares I get 50-50. I looked at him, somewhat surprised. You're really generous. What's the big deal? Money is just stuff. I value you as a person. I think you have unlimited potential, Alex said. Aren't you worried Leo has already contacted them? Compared to him, in the gaming industry, you're basically an outsider. You can't compete with him. You have a point. Do you have any ideas? If such a great game falls into Leo's hands, it will definitely be ruined, Alex asked me. I shook my head. No, Alex quickly said. Then I need to figure something out quickly. I can't let that bastard get there first. After saying that, Alex took out his phone and started making calls. Getting busy. Watching Alex, I couldn't help but smile slightly but said nothing. Late at night, I opened the game and saw Leo had sent me more messages, asking to meet, etc. I didn't reply and instead continued upgrading the game. Meanwhile, other companies also sent me messages, wanting to contact me to discuss game collaborations. I declined them all, and so I worked through the night. I needed to execute the second step of my revenge. I would make that wretched pair pay the price. They wanted to play the high-stakes game with their investment deal. I would snatch all their players away. I posted an announcement in the game, stating that the public beta would launch in 1 week. The few hundred players in the game were thrilled. Then I'll be a founding player. Me too. So exciting. Such a great game should be shared with everyone. I believe anyone who comes to play definitely won't be disappointed. After the public beta announcement, Leo messaged me, saying Ocean Wave Gaming was ready and would fully cooperate with Unbounded's public launch. I chuckled inwardly but ignored him. The game launch didn't need his help. Although I hadn't agreed, Leo shamelessly continued to tie his company's promotion to Unbounded, acting as if Unbounded was already their game. However, I didn't expose him. The more tightly they bound themselves now, raising player expectations, the harder they would fall later. I had anticipated all of this. Time passed quickly. Alex was also fast. He told me he got another 500 million from his family. Now the funds were sufficient, ready to support me anytime. The office space was rented, right here in Miami, and the company was registered. I nodded. Good. You're very efficient. Of course. I've been playing Unbounded nonstop for days lately. The experience is fantastic. It's definitely going to explode upon launch. Just then, the TV happened to be showing an interview with Leo. Leo was dressed impeccably. The host asked him, "We hear you have a deep collaboration with Unbounded already. Is that true?" "Yes, we've had in-depth discussions with the developer of Unbounded. They are very interested in our company. We expect to sign a cooperation agreement soon." Seeing this, Alex exclaimed, "Shameless. Truly shameless. Ethan, how can someone be so shameless in this world? They really can say anything." It doesn't matter. Alex, you can hold a press conference now. We're moving the public launch forward, I said. The new team was mostly assembled, and the customer service team was ready. Launching early was feasible now. Alex heard this and paused, slightly stunned. "Ethan, isn't this too sudden? So abrupt. Can't stand watching him gloat. Let's start. Don't tell me you can't arrange it." Alex heard this and replied easily, "Ethan, what are you talking about? I have plenty of contacts. Don't worry, I'll get it done in half a day." "Okay, good. By the way, will you come with me then?" "Yes, of course." A faint smile played on my lips. Unbounded was a breakthrough based on my original game, the culmination of years of work. Alex suddenly became excited. Imagine the look on Leo and Jessica's faces when they see this. I didn't care what expressions they had. I just wanted that despicable pair to face retribution. At 3 p.m., the game launch press conference officially began. The 1-hour conference focused entirely on the game, with no unnecessary fluff. The public beta opened immediately. Starting with only a few hundred players, from afternoon to evening, over 1 million players flooded in. This exceeded my expectations. I hadn't realized the game had generated so much hype. Various independent game bloggers tried the new game and gave it high praise. Within about a week, the total number of players broke 10 million. During that week, Leo and Jessica called me numerous times, but I didn't answer a single call. They also sent me many messages, asking what was going on. Why didn't I communicate with them before launching a new game? Now leaving them in this position, they said they wanted to talk face to face. I looked at these messages and replied to none. Jessica probably saw the photo she sent me and started regretting it, apologizing, even crying, saying she was sorry and begging for my forgiveness. I didn't respond to any of it. About a month later, Ocean Wave Gaming's stock price was cut in half again. Rumors of layoffs were circulating within the company. Alex told me, "Ethan, recently we've had people from Ocean Wave Gaming applying for jobs here. I rejected them all." I glanced at Alex. "Alex, if there are suitable candidates, we can still hire them. Don't reject everyone outright." Alex smiled. "I know. From the initial few hundred players, within less than 2 years, the player base grew to tens of millions. During this period, our company secured funding rounds, becoming profitable. Alex told me this. I acknowledged, indicating I understood. About a week after the mobile version launched, it also quickly gained tens of millions of fans. Unbounded was soon valued at over $10 billion. One day, as I was leaving the office after work, I saw a car parked at the entrance. Just as I walked a few steps, Leo and Jessica appeared before me. Neither had their former confident swagger. They just looked worn out. Jessica, who always meticulously dressed up, looked somewhat disheveled and rough today. They came up to me. I looked at them, my face cold, and asked, "What are you doing here?" Leo raised his hand and slapped himself hard across the face. "Ethan, we were wrong about what happened before. Please, give us a chance." Jessica also pleaded, "If you don't give us a chance, we'll die. For the sake of our past friendship, please don't push us to the edge. Give us a way out." I looked at them coldly. "A way out? Did you ever give me a way out?" I sneered inwardly. "Sorry, you have to rely on yourselves. Ending up like this is entirely your own fault." With that, I started walking away. Just a few steps later, they caught up. To my surprise, Leo and Jessica suddenly dropped to their knees in front of me, begging for another chance, looking as pitiful as could be. But pitiful people often have hateful aspects. "Sorry, whatever happens to you has nothing to do with me." Saying this sentence felt incredibly refreshing. I strode away, leaving them behind. After that, they came looking for me several more times, but I ignored them. About a year later, Ocean Wave Gaming went bankrupt. The investment deal failed, leaving them both burdened with massive debts. Unable to handle the pressure, Leo ultimately jumped to his death. Jessica couldn't take the shock either. She had a mental breakdown and was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. When I heard this news, I felt no ripple of emotion inside, only the conviction that they had brought their fate entirely upon themselves.